on YouTube?
Yeah, it looks like we're live on YouTube.
Okay.
This is my drawing window.
My office is so messy.
And I think there's like a 20-second delay between YouTube and.
Oh, so there's like a lag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you, let's
At
see.
least we're online.
There's like 4 people on here.
On mine, I see we have 31 concurrent viewers. If you can comment in the chat. Okay, I see some people coming up in the chat that you can see us. Okay, now.
Okay.
Hi everyone. What I'm gonna do is.
So wait, are they're seeing the Zoom?
They're seeing our Zoom right now. I'm gonna share my screen now. So you should be
so then when you share your screen, then they can see the drawing, but they can still hear us.
Yes.
I'm following you. Okay, I was a little lost there for a second. Now I get it. So you can Zoom and share that live, and that's how you're sharing this. Okay, now I get it. Completely lost there for a second.
Do they see the tiny videos of us in the corner? Or they just see the
I think so.
I
think we just see Dapo.
I don't know if they see us. Doubt it, but.
Well, I can see that they can see Dap.
Oh, you can see it.
I think it's when you start talking. Yeah. So when we talk, we.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Do you know, I should probably pull that YouTube screen up. Hold on. Right. So there's a little lag, so I can hear you. I can hear you coming through. So we're like 10 seconds behind.
Okay. I think this will work. If my computer will handle
all of this. Right, let me pull up this YouTube link so I can see us. This is about to get real confusing. I'm gonna silence mine so you can't hear it. There we go, no volume. So where's the chat? Ah, we see you, I see that. So I'll scroll up.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm listening to the current stream and it's like a minute, a couple minutes.
I'm turning the volume off completely so okay. I can't hear it.
So hi everyone, thanks for joining us. We're gonna try to draw in Magma.
Yeah.
And try to answer some of your questions.
Yeah, you guys are like, you're probably like, is it a minute behind or a few seconds behind? I don't know, but like we'll work it out somehow. So I'm looking at the comments. I'm just going to say hello to everyone as well. Thank you for tuning in and yeah, just watching us draw.
I'm here too. Yeah, there's such good hosts. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Happy Sunday. It's so cold today.
Yeah. Pissing down over here, to be honest. This is crazy windy and I'm hoping it doesn't knock out my internet connection. What have you guys been up to today?
Today's my mom's birthday, so
oh cool.
We got up and made coffee and I wanted to make her breakfast and she was like, no, I want Trinidadian food, so I'll just make it myself. Okay, so some of the questions that I can see are, what is Magma? Magma is a free drawing app. You can access it at, what is it? magmastudio.io. Wow, the delay is really long. I believe you can use it on all platforms. So like you don't have to have a Mac in order to use it. You can, I know that it works on my iPad as well as my computer, and I'm drawing on a Cintiq right now.
It's only in Safari. I thought it was like an app you could download.
Oh, really? Okay. It only works in Safari?
Well, not, like, I'm sure it works in
I'm using it on Chrome.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was like an app you downloaded.
Yeah,
like
so did I.
online.
I totally thought it was an app. I didn't know it was a browser thing, but this is cool. This is far better than an app, because an app would just spin more apps. So this is totally cool. And you can just get stuck in straight away. You don't need to worry about anything else. I was talking to Matt Forsyth about this today, and he was like, "Oh, next time you guys do it, if you do it next week, I'll join you." So yeah, we might have a fourth person next week.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. He's taking a bit of a break right now, but when he gets back into sketching zone,
he's in Hawaii, right?
No, he's Canadian. He's in Canada.
Why did I think he was in Hawaii?
He was in Greece for a bit, like, because he was posting that in his stories. He was in Greece on holiday for a little bit, and now he's back and he's doing up quarantine, so he's chilling a little bit. Been doing some like really loose doodles of this kid, like just trying to figure out some things.
I'm like really into fall this year, so I just keep drawing fall people.
That's good.
And feel the seasons.
So when I zoom in, does it affect your screen? It doesn't, does it?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Can you move the screen up and down?
Yeah, you use the hand tool to kind of move it around.
Okay, that's where I've been messing up, because I've been trying to figure out how the hell to move the screen. There we go, that's perfect. Okay. Can we have the video of us bigger and still see the chat?
Let me see.
Well, I am on YouTube looking at the chat, but it doesn't look like the video's big enough though. I mean, the video looks big enough. Doesn't. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? It looks big enough, doesn't it?
Mine is the whole. It's like the three of us on top, right?
Yeah. Someone is asking, how did we each develop our drawing styles? It's still developing. That's the best answer I can think of right now. It's still developing. It looks big enough, doesn't it? Like, and I think this is the most naked I've ever been drawing anything. So you guys are going to see all the cock ups and all the mistakes and all the kind of stops and starts.
Just like drawing every day, I feel like.
Yeah, that's like, you know, drawing every day or drawing as much as you can, because I'm like, I don't draw every day, but drawing as much as you can will get you there. Like, and it's an ongoing thing. Like, there is no set way to develop your drawing style. I think it's an ongoing thing, right? Like, you just keep developing.
What about you, Bash?
What now?
How do we develop our drawing styles?
Definitely just by working at it. Sorry, I am struggling here. I think my computer doesn't enjoy the fact that I have two versions of this file open at the same time, and so my computer is lagging. So what I can do is just share the screen that I'm drawing on. So it might be kind of zoomed in, but I'll try to draw not so zoomed in. Because you guys, you guys drew zoomed out yesterday.
Yeah, we drew. I'm zoomed in now. Like I'm zoomed in now. But like yesterday, yeah, I totally did draw zoomed out. That was an interesting experience.
Let me see what I can do.
Just keeping it loose. Oh, you're doing this on your iPad?
Yeah.
Any different?
A lot easier.
Is it? Okay. Can you? Is it because you can pinch the screen and stuff?
Yeah. I just feel like I have more control over the pen. That's more like direct.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. The Cintiq stylus is a bit.
Yeah, I only use my Wacom to like clean up paintings.
Yeah.
So I'm not used to just like drawing directly with it as much.
I know the feeling.
All they see is us now.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I have a secret window open somewhere and I can't find it.
Someone's asking us if we're trying to build a story together. The answer is no, we are just having some fun.
Someone said, is everyone using a tablet?
Ish, yeah. How do I? Okay, there it goes.
I'm using an iPad.
Yeah, an iPad's a tablet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drawing on a Cintiq tablet.
I'm doing the same. I'm using the Cintiq. I wish I had done this on my iPad, but I'll do that next time because, as Sheree said, the iPad, the control that you get on the iPad is just much better. Like I really like the work rate on the iPad, or the workflow, should I say? Why am I lagging? What's going on?
Yeah, I was lagging pretty hard for a second. I'm just gonna draw like much bigger now since I can't zoom in. Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to take the screen away because my pen wasn't allowing me to draw because I had two windows open. I was trying to share a screen with you guys while I was drawing and it was not working out for me.
What screen were you trying to share?
Well, I created a second Magma account.
Oh.
So that I could show the full screen of the whole drawing, so that I would have the freedom of like zooming in and stuff. But I will forego that so that I can just draw like a little bit more smoothly for you guys to see everything. So now I can get to your questions. That was really bothering me for a second. I'm not like the most tech savvy person, but I like knowing how things work and I like figuring them out. So if I can, I will. Okay, so back to your questions. Can you suggest a cheaper tablet? I have an iPad, but I want to use my computer for illustrations as well, but Cintiqs are super expensive. I don't know any off of the top of my head, but I was just reading in that magazine, Imagine FX. They do reviews of all kinds of things, like towards the end of the magazine, like reviews of our new tablets or whatever kind of gear that's out there. They also review books. And I would recommend like just Googling Imagine FX tablets because it might just be on their website, because these companies probably want their reviews regularly available. I subscribe to that magazine through Apple News. So I pay like $10 a month and I have access to like 50 different magazines, and that's one of them. And I remember they recommend, like they recently recommended a tablet that wasn't Wacom. It wasn't like Apple or anything. It was a companion. So it goes along with your computer. And it was under $300, I believe. So I would definitely,
Wow.
yeah, there are options out there. It doesn't have to be like $1,000 for a Wacom.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Cintiq or Wacom Cintiq. It doesn't have to be any of that. There are options out there, but I would advise everybody to like really do their research, like really look into, you know, what it is that you want to buy, like read reviews, watch YouTube videos about it, and just really do your due diligence before you pick it up.
You're also able to, if you have an Apple computer with your iPad, you can tether your iPad to it.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but if you want to just use what you already have, it works.
Absolutely.
I want to try that. That's the thing, because I was thinking about like, because I'm using an iMac at the moment, so I was thinking about getting a MacBook and then tethering my my iPad to that. Is that what you do?
I've done that.
Yeah, you use Sidecar. So like it requires you to be like up to date on your apps all the time. So like when that thing pops up on the side of your computer, you have to update.
Okay, so you have to be up on the latest operating systems.
Yeah, they have to be linked up, matched up. And it's
okay.
fine, like
I might do
but
that.
like that artist Pernille Oram, like
yeah,
Norwegian. I don't know. She's
I know who she is.
Yeah.
Is that what she does?
She uses Sidecar, and I'm always shocked and surprised. Like her work looks so slick.
So that's what she does. She tethers her iPad to her MacBook.
Yeah, so that she can work in Photoshop.
But using the iPad screen and the Apple Pencil.
Exactly.
That is really slick. I think I will be doing that. Because I was just wondering, I'm thinking about what to get in terms of like my iMac is about just a decade old now. So it's coming up to that time to replace it. So I was thinking this time I might try and get a MacBook instead. And try and live the laptop life, you know?
Yeah. It's so freeing eventually, yeah.
When I had to do like serious editing, I did it because I was like, either I'm gonna have to redraw this completely or like really intricately go in and like re-outline a drawing. And I was able to do that with like Sidecar. But I just kept feeling like my iPad was gonna explode because my file was so big.
Yeah. My laptop is like, sounds like it's about to explode right now because it's so hot, like connected to my iPad. I mean, to my my Cintiq and streaming.
Isn't it just using it as a separate screen though? Like with when you tether the iPad to the MacBook, it's just using it as a separate screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, it doesn't affect the memory on the iPad or anything like that. It just uses it as a separate screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
There may be some sort of limitations on like how much free space you have to have in order to handle like the bandwidth or something. I don't know.
Okay. I know they released a new model iPad, so I might buy both and just see how it goes. And try it out. Because I'm just thinking about ways to make my work flow much more portable, so I can just move around a bit. Because being stuck at the desk sometimes, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Okay, so let's see, other questions or other things. It would be cool if you guys did a drawing tutorial that we could follow along with. Yeah, I mean, I feel like
we're drawing quite slowly, so you can
you could follow.
You could just follow along.
But we also all draw very differently, so I feel like
it
would be more beneficial to have individual tutorials.
Yeah. Or like we could pick something and then just draw different versions of that thing. And then y'all can just draw along as well.
Yeah, we didn't really create a theme today. I've seen people do
No,
these where they choose a theme and everyone follows along. But I mean, I think our
could do that next
general
time.
theme, regardless of what we're working on, is like kids of color.
This is it. We could do that next time, though.
Let's see.
The only problem with doing it on my iPad is like it keeps sensing my hand when I lean on my iPad. And then I
Yeah.
keep getting those weird lines.
It does what?
Like
What happens?
Like when I see that, I keep getting these weird straight lines. It's because I keep pressing my hand on my iPad.
Are you trying to make the lines snap like you're using Procreate?
No, I'm just like resting my hand on my iPad.
It's like not
so
auto sensing. If it were an
Alright,
app,
so,
probably would understand how to not sense your hand movement. But
okay,
since
I
it's the
get
web,
you.
it's probably leggy like that.
Because I was doing, like I said earlier, I was trying to make my line snap and it just was not happening because I forgot where I was. Totally forgot where I was.
What are your favorite programs to use for illustrating? Pretty much every work that I've done for a picture book or a published book has been done in Photoshop. I've done some work in Procreate, and I was thinking about illustrating a book that I'm working on now in Procreate on the iPad, but pretty much it just turned into Photoshop. So I did everything from my computer. What about you guys?
I am loving Procreate. I finished the last, I think the last 4 or 5 books I did. I finished them all on Procreate. So that's my go-to app at the moment. But I did learn a lot in terms of, I feel like I made a lot of mistakes. I shouldn't probably be saying that, but I feel like I made a lot of mistakes. So I am trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to get better at using Procreate. And I'm going to go back to using Photoshop as a finishing tool because that was always my thing. Like I never used to finish everything on Procreate. I used to start like do all my line work and all my rough drafting on Procreate and then go to Photoshop to finish in color. So normal working practice would be start the drawing in pencil and then take it to Procreate to clean up the lines. And then once the lines are clean, take those into Photoshop and add color. And if you look at my work is very flat. So there's not much in the way of like, I don't know, digital effects or anything going on there. So like when I take it to Photoshop to add color, it is just like flat colors, maybe the odd texture here and there.
So you don't have like a million layers like that. That's my main concern about working in Procreate for a final book is I need more layers than Procreate can offer.
I don't have a million layers. I do have, it just depends on what I'm drawing. So like if I'm drawing a spread, I might tend to have upwards. The most layers I've ever had in anything was about 75 layers. That's the most I've ever had. And that was on a detailed spread on the last picture book that I finished. But like I try to challenge myself to work with fewer layers and just try and work, I don't know, I'm not going to say smarter because it's not smarter, but just like more efficient.
More conservative.
Yeah, more conservatively and more efficiently and try and just work with fewer layers.
And is that you separating each item onto its own layer, like an eyeball, like eyeballs and eyebrows and on their own layers, right. Or is that multiple effects layers, like overlay and stuff like that?
It's the overlay and all that stuff. So like the drawing, the line work tends to be one layer. So working out the line work. So like, for example, with this, I'll draw like the outline of the face on one layer. Then I'll start a new layer to draw like the features so I can manipulate them without affecting the outline of the face. And once I get them right, I merge them with the layer below. And I just keep working. I keep working that way until I get everything in the line work right. And then once everything in the line work is right, that's my line work layer. And then I move to like, I turn that into a multiply layer. And then I add color. And I try to keep everything quite flat. I try to keep it all quite flat.
I feel like on like a book like Soulway, I had like hundreds of layers.
Yeah, so you had a lot of like color effects and stuff happening, right?
Yeah, I would have like one little folds opacity or overlay on its own layer, and there would just be 100 layers of different overlays and effects and multiplied and things like that.
And you had light was a big factor in that book, right? So like you had a lot of I'm guessing, like, if I recall the images correctly, you had light coming at us from several different directions to make something, to kind of highlight something, isn't it? So like, to do that, I can imagine you'd have loads of layers going on at the same time.
Yeah, like for example, like scenes where I drew the star itself had like, you know, the object, like that's the center of the star, and then the sparkly stuff that's kind of surrounding it, and then the glow that's outside of it, and the refracted light that's coming from that, and then the like refractions that are coming from that, and the color overlays that are on top of that. It just kept going and going and going.
Do you find it gets a bit out of hand sometimes, though?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm one of those crazy people that doesn't name layers and stuff until like the very end.
My God, you're not alone. Like I name layers when it gets too much. Like when I need to remember something like specific, or when I'm making an edit to something. Like I've only just with the last book started naming layers, like because it was the book cover. So I had to name the layers on there, and it was because of the designer I was working with. If it was left to just me, I wouldn't name anything. Like just it would just be one big colossal mess, and you'd have to keep clicking on stuff to figure it out.
I don't know how you guys illustrate books digitally. I can't. My brain just can't function.
I'm still figuring this out. This stage that I'm doing here right now, I normally do this in pencil.
Yeah.
So I'm still figuring this out. Like,
yeah, someone asked up here, like, what media do you prefer? Or does it something about like, is there a preference over traditional media like pencil and paper versus working digitally?
I still have a preference to like watercolor and paper, and like adding like texture with like colored pencil and crayon stuff. But I feel like it's easier to make one-off illustrations digitally. Like
yeah,
like it's easier to make like very
like
direct message things.
Like a lot of the stuff you post on social media and the stuff that goes on your Society 6, those are more digital, right? Yeah. Like the patterns and stuff. I love those.
I am definitely, and it's so crazy saying this, I am definitely more with the traditional than the digital. But the digital is for me anyway, it's a requirement for the job to get the work done quickly. Like left to my own devices, I would definitely be more on the traditional than the digital. But the digital is there for me to be able to get work done and get it done quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, to me, they're all just tools, and I tend to work differently when I use different tools. Like if I draw with a pencil versus a pen, like I literally notice differences in my line work. And thusly there's even more a difference when I work with a digital tool, or even like the difference between an Apple Pencil and a Cintiq pen. There's often a lot of like moral hierarchy associated with it, and to me that's non-existent. Like it's a moot point. Like to me it's just a tool.
It's exactly, it's a means to an end. It's got nothing to do with it, and also it's about preference,
right?
Like there's no moral hierarchy at all on my part anyway. Definitely there's none of that. I know there are some artists out there who would have you believe that, you know, one is better than the other, or one is considered cheating. In fact, I went to my local print shop to get some prints made, and he was looking at my work. I go there to like do all my printing, and he was looking at my work, and he's like, "Oh, you know, how do you do this? How do you do this?" And I explained the process to him, and he's like, "Isn't that a bit like cheating?" I was like,
cheating
no. Who? Right? I was like, no. I was like, no, it really isn't. Digital is one of the hardest things that I have ever had to do. Like, I find digital really difficult, like really, really difficult. There are things that people take like 5 seconds to do that can take me a whole day.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there's so many different, there's so many even more barriers in terms of what happens when you have digital tools. Like now I have every single color at my arsenal, and that may be freeing for some, but it may be very limiting for others, or very intimidating and hard to
it's
choose.
intimidating. It makes me freeze.
You
Like,
look at
it
all those
literally,
fancy brushes, and when you can zoom in so tight and get really nitpicky over details, and then you forget to zoom out and check out the entire image, and you've like completely messed up everything. Like there
I make more mistakes
assets and
digitally
limitations
than
to
I do
every
traditionally.
tool.
I make more mistakes digitally than I do traditionally. Like, traditionally, it's weird. Like, a part of my brain is so accustomed to things traditionally, it just switches off and does its own thing. Whereas digitally, I find that I have to really think about what I'm doing, which is a great challenge, but it's the hang up for me. And then there are other people that work digitally and they don't have to do that. Like, if I don't think and I just go with the flow digitally, I end up making a ton of mistakes that I spend hours going back and fixing. And it's just,
yeah, it's like the difference of shopping at your bodega versus Costco. Like, there's too many things to choose from here. I don't know. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Bread and butter. Okay. Does anyone else offer tutorials like on Patreon or Skillshare? This person says they're familiar with my one Skillshare class, but are there other options?
Your one single Skillshare class. I don't at the moment, because of time, and also to be perfectly honest, because of the amount that I don't know. Like, I'm painfully aware of what I still have yet to learn with each book I take on. So at the moment, that's not something I'm going to be doing. But what I am thinking about potentially doing is starting something like a Saturday. I mentioned this yesterday, like a Saturday kind of sketch class for children, not for adults, like for the kiddies. Just to kind of, just to kind of break up my weekend, for one, and also to just kind of offer people something creative to do with their children during this lockdown period. Because over here in London, we are about to go into a second lockdown. Fun time.
That is wild.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to keep this a COVID-free chat.
I always feel like I'm a terrible teacher. So every time I'm like, what do I have to teach? I did have a what's it called? Like a watercolor portrait painting class last year. That was fun.
That's awesome. Was it in person?
Yeah.
IRL?
Yes, IRL.
Ugh.
So long ago.
What a treat. I like doing workshops and stuff, but I like doing them in person. So like when I get the opportunity to do one like at SCBWI, I'm happy to do it. I was talking to you guys yesterday about like the weird things that give me anxiety. Like I don't know if I have like the personal mental bandwidth to create a Patreon, because there's so many expectations of like updating your followers every couple of days and uploading more work. And then it requires you to think about my Patreon specific work and my Instagram work and then my work. I just like that's a full-time job. I don't have the mental bandwidth to handle that. And I don't know. I'm interested in just doing the work, and sometimes like the other parts of the job can be really overwhelming. So for now, like even the fact like I have a background in filmmaking and I love movie making, but not one single part of me wants to film and edit like a tutorial video and upload it and worry about frame rates and subtitles and like that. I was very fortunate. The folks at Skillshare invited me to
Do
make
all
that
of that.
video, and they did it. Like they did all of the hard work. Like I just had to perform, and they edited and put music to it and put it online, and it had great production value. I personally don't have any desire to work on small logistical things like that. Sadly.
See, I was thinking about a Patreon page, but now you've broken it down like
Oh,
that.
no.
I'm like, that's a freaking nightmare. Nope. But I would, if I did one, I would have it themed. So like I would have it pre-planned. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, it would be a thing where people would get like a drawing a month if they signed up to a specific tier, or if they signed up to like a behind the scenes thing, you know, they'd get behind the scenes looks at stuff that I'm working on and just ways of working. But like it would be something manageable because
Yeah.
like you say, I'm not trying to work myself into the ground.
Sadly,
Like,
so
and
much of
also,
the stuff we work on has to be secret for a
has
while.
to
So
be
it's not like we
secret. I
can't
know.
share that stuff.
Yeah. And well, I hope no one's watching, but like I would find a way to share stuff. Like I'd give people like a little sneak peek of little characters that don't really matter to the whole story. So because I do that now online anyway. Like on my Instagram, I tend to share little characters that don't make or break the story. Okay. So I'd kind of do that on the Patreon, and I'd do it so if people are happy to kind of hear me talk about process, like, and not necessarily film anything, but just sit there and answer questions, I can do that. You know, I don't know, just because that's what it is, right? Like people kind of tuning in to get stuff that they wouldn't normally get.
You could start a Twitch Twitch stream.
There's so many things.
Yeah, I guess you picked the one that works for you, right? Like you said, there's loads.
Let's see. Hello from Jamaica. What kind of tools, resources, sites can you go to for a 9-year-old seriously interested in illustrating, like a starter suggestion? If we're talking specifically online tools and resources, like, well, no, let me start. The beginning, I really feel like is just having like physical tools. Like sometimes, like my mom would bring me home paper from work, like printer paper that she got from her job. And it meant so much to me that she was thinking about me and brought me tools to make art with. Like I, as a creative kid, wanted to make art with anything and everything. So I really feel like just any little tools, like it doesn't have to be fancy stuff, like will be wonderful. So just getting started with anything that you have access to. But on the flip side, like being like treated as like a real artist by my family, like
right.
when they bought me special things, that also meant a whole lot. And you know, I didn't grow up in a time where we had internet and stuff, like tools like that kids have access to now. But my guess for options for a young
There's
artist,
loads of stuff on YouTube,
just like, outside of like the free stuff that you already have access to, I would recommend like Skillshare classes. I don't know if there's specific ones for young people. Do you guys know?
I don't know if there's specific ones for young people. I know, like, I don't know, at 9, I was mentioning this guy yesterday, Rob Biddulph. He does this amazing thing called Draw with Rob, and it's basically for primary school children. I think 9, you'd still be cool enough to kind of, it would still be challenging enough for a 9-year-old, definitely. But it's a great way to start and a great introduction, because Rob's little segments that he does, he challenges children to draw fun characters. So it's not like you're at school, if that makes any sense. Like it's similar to the kind of stuff that we were doing. He had a real great Halloween session the other day where they were drawing like skeletons, and it was just really fun. So that's a nice way. And also at that age as well, I think obviously I say this across the board for all of us, have fun, but at that age, definitely have fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, just really enjoy it. Really enjoy it.
Especially like YouTube. I love watching like artists on YouTube that share their like studio visits and like working on stuff. I feel like growing up, that would have been really important to me, like seeing people make money off of their art,
Yeah.
especially the really like just like working from home and like making stickers. Like I feel like that's so exciting to see. And they're always like really young kids that are like in high school. It's always really impressive.
When I was in grad school, we had a community arts partnership where graduate students would go into local high schools and elementary school and middle schools and teach classes. So I would, if you live in a city or if you live near an arts university, there might be an opportunity to enroll in a CAP or a community arts partnership program, like virtually. Like I know friends of mine that are teaching these classes. Like a friend of mine taught filmmaking to 9-year-olds, and she had like 36 students, and she did it over Zoom. So it was like a huge challenge on her part, but she said it was like a really kind of fruitful class, and the kids all learned like Final Cut Pros, like really cool. So I imagine there are other options. There are options like that around, and probably even if you don't live in like that city, there, because everything is virtual, you may have the opportunity to enroll in something like that out of state. I taught filmmaking to 13-year-olds, and they were really silly the whole time, but they were good. They're clever.
So this is a funny question. Did you know as children that you could draw this well?
I always knew I liked to draw, and I definitely kind of got the idea that I was like the best drawer in my class for a while. So yeah, it's like often like the reinforcement from other people that takes you to that next level, and to really believing that you have this capacity.
So am I right in assuming that all of us were the art kid in our classes?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The kid that everybody turned around to when it was time to draw something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the legacy. Honestly, drawing this well is a new thing. I didn't always know I could draw this well, but I always knew I could draw.
Mm-hmm. When I was young, I was really interested in drawing like photorealistically. Like I didn't really know what I was doing or saying with my art. I was just copying stuff. So I don't know. The words drawing well feel like a little bit akin to that. And that's often like, I feel like a little misrepresentative of what like art can
what good
be.
drawing is.
Yeah.
Or you know, what is good drawing anyway? Like, you know, but I mean, yeah, I never, it's weird. I never went through that particular phase, like that kind of photoreal kind of trying to get the shading right and all that stuff. I never went through that phase. Like I always kind of shied away from it. I did it once or twice when I was in college, but like it just never took. I was always into comics and just all of that stuff. It just never took. It never took. And I see it now, and I'm very impressed by the people that can do it. And I know that, you know, if the kind of work called for it, I could definitely flex that muscle. But it's just not something that, I don't know, just never took. I just never found it engaging.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do it like in art class, like when you draw like a really anatomically correct hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's exciting. Or like when you go through the part where they have you drawing bones and stuff.
Yeah, and like full crumpled up pieces of paper and eggs, and it was kind
But
to get the texture
still life
right.
after still life.
I started drawing by like tracing Sailor Moon off the TV. So I was like, drawing.
See, mine's was what was I drawing? I used to draw my favorite video game characters. Like that's how I started. Like it started with the video game characters, and then we drew different levels from our favorite video games, and just from there we progressed. Like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me it was like magazines, drawing people's faces, like eyeballs, like every other girl in art class.
That was my favorite time drawing, though, for definite.
Everyone just have like eyeballs just floating in their notebooks.
Well, like just random eyeballs.
Yeah, like a photorealistic eyeball with a ton of eyelashes. Batiste Braxton says, when I draw hands, it still looks crazy. Me too. Can you see? I just like breeze right past the hands in all of my drawings because like, it doesn't flow immediately from my head. So I sort of just like don't focus on it. And it requires like a lot of focus and attention for me to get hands. Like I don't have a shorthand for hands. So
I'm challenging myself to get better.
Five squiggles.
You do 5 squiggles, did you say?
Yeah.
5 squiggles for the fingers.
Like this?
Yeah, that's a hand.
Let's see. Was I skeptical of putting my work on social media? I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I only put specific work on social media. Like sometimes most of the time I make work specifically for social media. And if I come up with something that I think is a really good idea, I don't post it. So like some of my favorite drawings, I won't show to people until I've like explored the idea more, and maybe it'll be the idea for a book or something like that. So I try to be really mindful of what I put out there, especially because like I haven't read all the clauses in the Instagram contract. I don't like Facebook owns all that stuff. I have no idea. So like I'm trying to be really careful, like protective over my favorite ideas. So
that's super smart. And I wish I'd take a leaf out of your book because I share everything online. And that's not the best way to do it. Like it is super smart. And also it just kind of keeps stuff for you, you know, just in case you want to use it later on, like you said, for a story, you want to flesh it out a bit more. Like if I like it, I'm like, oh my God, I want to share that. Like I just share it online. So I learned that last year to stop doing that. Like share it when, you know, when it's kind of just, when it's ready properly. Right. Or keep things separate.
Draw something for Instagram today.
Yeah, that's what because most of the time, at least with the three of us, like we're all working on stuff, right? For books and TV and things that we can't share. So sometimes for me, it's like a nice respite from what I'm actually working on to create something to share on social media.
Yeah, the problem for me is time. So what I tend to do is I will share like old stuff.
Yeah.
Like I would share old stuff. I'll just go down my timeline, and if it's really old and no one's seen it, I'll bring it back up.
Yeah, that's what I've been having to do recently, just share a bunch of old stuff because I don't have the time.
Annoying is when you make something new and it's beautiful and thoughtful, and then you reshare something and everyone loves the old thing.
They love the old thing more.
Yeah.
It's always the way.
Is this program pixel based or vector based? It is pixel based.
Yeah, when you zoom in, everything goes a bit mad.
Yeah, I'll zoom in so you guys can see. It's like very pixely.
Yep. Someone said, if you weren't drawing, what would you do career-wise? If you weren't doing art? I don't know.
Acting.
Acting?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a villain.
Oh.
Like, I feel like it would be so liberating. Like, I've always wanted to play a villain. So like acting that's definitely something that I would do. Acting or writing, anything that kind of just involves escape in that way, I'm for it. Mm-hmm. Escape and storytelling, those two things combined, I'm for it.
used to want to be an interior designer because I used to love to move my furniture around my room all the time.
Interior design is awesome.
I don't know what I'd be doing. I mean, I went to school for film but I never thought that one day I would become like a professional. Like I'd never thought that that would be my main job, like the thing that I do to make money. I always thought that filmmaking would be my art form, and that would be the thing that like I focus on. Like I make a movie and I show it at a film festival and I get it into this thing and I would move on. And like I would supplement that career as like a teacher or just have like a gig in the studio doing like production work or something like that. And that's what I was doing when I worked on an animated TV series as a production coordinator. And I got laid off. And it was after getting laid off from there that I started pursuing illustrating. And if I hadn't turned to illustrating after that, I was really, really interested in getting into the book world. Like I applied to a ton of jobs as a book designer, and I got a couple offers, and they didn't exactly pan out, but I would have liked to design books. So maybe graphic designer. I worked for a brief time as a designer of t-shirts and stuff, which Cherie also did. Weird, interesting gig. Not as fun as the Children's Place, but I guess that would pay the bills, I suppose.
I got fired from a graphic design job years ago. Like I'm it was supposed to be like a week-long kind of, I don't know, placement, I don't know, and I only lasted 2 days. It wasn't really my thing because I was doing graphic design thinking that I was going to be allowed to draw and create images, but it was like putting together like adverts and just doing artworking. Like, so that was not my speed at all.
You want to be a toy designer? I guess that's still art.
Ooh, that would be cool. But that's like still drawing though, isn't it? Like
so much like 3D stuff though. Like for a while when I was like looking for work and I had experience as a graphic designer, really wanted to get into consumer products at like Disney.
Sculpting.
Yeah, and I like one of the big hurdles was like you need to learn Maya, like to design, like do 3D modeling for toy design and product design. And I was just like, oh, I don't care about programs like that.
I was thinking about that the other day actually, because I do look at like, you know, what kind of life the characters that I create can have beyond the page. And I'm like, well, if I learned how to, you know, sculpt in my free time, I use that term loosely. If I learned how to sculpt in my free time, then I'd be able to kind of take them to that next level myself rather than relying on someone to do it for me. Yeah.
I thought about that, but then I was like, that's what money is for. Just hire someone who's really good at
someone
it and
to do
likes
it.
doing that stuff.
I mean, I did that for Rocket. Like I did get somebody to
that 3D model.
Yeah, and he's awesome. Sam's absolutely brilliant. But it did get me thinking, like, because I'm kind of working around him because I didn't pay him. He was just like, yeah, you know, I could do this for free. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm having to work around him, which has made me think, you know what? If I learned it myself, then I could just crack on and I could practice on my own characters and not have to wait on anybody to do anything.
That's fair.
We'll see.
Sculpey. To get some Sculpey.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the questions. Somebody really likes the frogs, Heath.
Thank you.
Where did you go to school? I went to the University of Virginia for undergrad, where I studied media studies and studio art with concentrations in cinematography and film. And then I went to Cal Arts to get my MFA in film and video. And that's where I picked up drawing again. What about you guys?
I'll let you go first on that one, Cherie.
I went to Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, where I studied communication design with an emphasis in illustration. So communication design is like art direction, illustration, and graphic design. So you can kind of take classes from any of those divisions, but I mostly took illustration ones. And yeah.
I went to Croydon College, and if anyone's from London and they're tuning in and they know what Croydon College is, they know how much of a shithole it was. So yeah, it wasn't really the best place. It was not the best place. Like, I studied graphic design there, and it was because I didn't know any better, and I didn't even know that illustration existed as an opportunity. So I just went into the thing that would sound really cool if somebody asked me, what is it that I do for a living? And that was graphic design. I was like, oh yeah, I can say graphics, and it sounds credible. So I studied that. All throughout the whole course, I kept drawing while everybody was using Photoshop and doing all these amazing graphics. I just kept drawing, kept tailoring all the briefs to allow me to draw. And then in my third year, like literally in the last kind of month of the whole course, I had one of the tutors turn around and tell me, maybe you should have considered doing an illustration degree. And I was like, you think? So yeah, that was my story. Not the best experience, but I got here eventually.
Someone's family's from Charlottesville. Charlottesville, everyone knows Charlottesville now for not the best reasons. But I still like Seaville. It's one of my favorite places I've lived. One question is, how did we all meet?
Instagram, right? Like, or social media. Like,
actually,
wait, hold on. No, we met, didn't we?
IRL, yeah. I had an event at Waterstones. Dapo and I have the same publisher in the UK and the same publicist. So Chloe invited Dapo to come to an event that she organized for me for Little Leaders at the Waterstones or the Foils at Charing Cross or something.
No, it was the Waterstones in Piccadilly.
Waterstones at Piccadilly. And there was like a long line of people who I was like signing books, and I was like watching Chloe and Dapo and someone else like hanging out, and I was like, I want to be over there. Not that I don't love signing books, but I was like, what are they doing? They're having fun, and I want to hang out. And then
it was me and my friend Kalechi came down with us, and we had a really, really good time. Like, it was you in conversation with Victoria as well, and Victoria's another friend. Yeah. Like, so it was really cool, kind of like, seeing everybody just be their best self. And I just had so much fun. Like, and it was great hearing your journey and hearing stuff and the parallels. Like, I've come to see the parallels between, the journey that you had and the journey that I've had being self-taught. Like, it was a great kind of, I don't know, for me, it was a great inspiration anyway. Yeah. But it was a good night. That's how we met. And Cherie's work, I think me and Cherie, we just followed each other on Instagram, right? Like,
yeah,
that was it.
I talked to you until we did the live stream.
Yeah.
Maybe we
That's awesome.
Social media.
Social media, it bridges gaps.
It's funny because Vashti and I have the same publisher in the US and the same publicist.
The same publicist.
In the US.
You came to my book launch, my first book event.
Yes.
At Books Are Magic.
Oh, look at this.
I remember because I followed you before that, and then both of our books got bought at the same time, and I was like, oh, Little Leaders.
And you had messaged me, and I don't know if I saw it or didn't know, and I was like, and I thought your name was Sheree, and Catherine said, have you met Cherie? And I was like, no, I don't know who Cherie is.
So the crazy thing was, for me, Cherie was following me, and I didn't know, because I know you as Cherie Miller, but your Instagram is Coily Cute, right? So like, I was confused. So Amy, I think you heard me mention Amy before. Amy's like a huge, huge fan of Cherie's work in the UK. And she kept talking about your book, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And she's like, yeah, she's fantastic. And I think her header on Instagram is some of your work. So no, her header on Twitter is some of your work. So I was like, oh, okay. And then when I clicked and I saw that you were following me, I was like, oh my God, I was slightly embarrassed that I didn't know you were following me. Like, but it be like that sometimes online. You can't tell who's following you. Like, but yeah, just instant follow back. I was like, yeah, this work is amazing. Hey, my frog's done.
Yeah, I don't know what else to draw. So if you guys have any recommendations, questions.
I'm just kind of like, I had this like doodle of Rocket that I might draw. Like, give the fans what they want.
And what marketing recommendations do you have for self-published authors who can't afford publicists? I would say be really good at social media, be really good at Twitter. I mean, I think like the benefit of the publicist is that they maintain relationships with all the bookstores. So that's what you have to do on your own, is getting in touch with the booksellers and like the event planners at those bookstores. You can host events there. I mean, like I've seen people have events at like Sam's Club and Costco, like on their own, out of their own hard work. And once you kind of, you know, build that relationship with them, they'll continue to push and sell your books. Other than that, it's more like on the ground stuff. I imagine like doing school visits and just trying to be really good at social media, I imagine.
I think it really is just about sort of like being prepared to do that extra legwork, because that's what Chloe does for us. She does a lot of legwork, and you know, obviously, because like you said, she's built those connections, things come into her. But I think it's about doing that legwork, because with us, especially with Rocket being like one of a kind character that we released in the UK at the time, a lot of the stuff that we did for the socials, Nathan and I bought stuff to Chloe. As much as she did stuff, we bought stuff to her as well. So we were ready and willing to like really jump on it like that. And I think that comes from my kind of experiences on social media prior to signing a publishing deal. I was holding my own art shows. I was doing all these things by myself. I had that. I was willing to go out there. So you kind of have to be ready to do that legwork. Like it's relentless. Like it really is relentless. And it didn't change much. I don't know about you guys, but it didn't change much for me when we got published. It's still relentless. Like
it's a little less relentless. I had self-published my first book. So it was a lot of social media. I didn't go that far as to like go to schools or anything. It was a lot of like social media promotion. And I went to events because I had self-published princess hair. So I went to a lot of natural hair events. People bring their kids there.
Right.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you self-promote during Corona, but I guess it's just a lot of social media. I'm sure if you call schools now, they're really looking for people to do
videos and
online visits. And I have seen that.
You know what?
Where like I've been in events with self-published authors who just have like they're gung-ho enough to go and like promote their book and like build those connections themselves.
Right. I don't know if you guys know, I always recommend people join SCBWI, the Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators. And since the pandemic, they've been doing these like workshops every week. And one week was specifically geared towards self-published authors. And I can't remember the author's name, but she did like a really detailed presentation about like, here are actual steps you can take and things you can do. So I always recommend SCBWI because I feel like getting into this industry requires you to be a bit of a self-starter. Like if you're an illustrator, you should be thinking about how to promote yourself and get your portfolio in its best shape, and how to get seen and found by agents, and how to query agents, and then also for authors, like best practices for how to move forward, whether or not you want to be published traditionally or whether you want to self-publish. So that was an organization I joined when I lost my job and moved back here to my parents' house in Olney, Virginia, and didn't know what else to do and taught myself how to enter the publishing industry. So I recommend joining and reading their literature. No one's gonna like exactly gonna hold your hand through it, so you have to just do the works, but it's there. Like, and they're very helpful people. So going to one of their events, their conferences, or their virtual conferences will be a fruitful experience.
I've heard great things about them, and they have a chapter over here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah,
That's great.
I mean, if things didn't happen the way they happened, I definitely would have joined up. I still could. I think it's no. Do you know what? To be honest, I think I'm an honorary member, because I do stuff online on Twitter and stuff with them. So like, I think I'm like technically an honorary member or something. Like,
I feel like they've been focusing a lot more on self-published work too now, because I feel like there has been like questions about it for a long time.
I don't know if the stream disappeared for a minute, but I'm glad it looks like it's back up and people are still asking questions. Oh, Cherie, have you seen that movie Bad Hair on Hulu yet? That horror movie? Yeah, me neither. I saw like one bad review of it and I was like, oh, okay.
Really? I was like,
is it the one where the weave comes alive and like?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Lamar was watching it. Like, he's doing like a horror movie binge over the Halloween season. So I think that was one of his films that he was watching.
I did watch Witches.
The new Witches.
Yeah, you said on my post, right? Like, you said that it wasn't that good.
It wasn't as good as the first one, and I don't know. It was okay.
I couldn't remember why I disliked this movie so much, and it's because it's so melancholy. Just the story itself, like Roald Dahl, is so dark, man.
I love that stuff though. That's like, that stuff is my bag. I love that stuff. Like,
you're gonna be a rat forever, a mouse forever. There's no solution.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Not in the Vashti story. There's always a way out.
That didn't happen.
I've never seen somebody make it so appealing. Like, I'm sorry, I've just never seen somebody make it so appealing. I was like, yes, I wouldn't mind. Like, with a cool ass granny like that, I would not mind.
No.
Like, but you have to remember, I was like 7 at the time, so yeah. Now I would very much mind. Like, I'm not living that life. But the remake, I mean, without spoilers or anything, like, what did you think?
I mean, I like the small updates they made. Like, it definitely felt like they cleaned up like some of the places that dragged in the old one. And the Witches were
like, they made it more upbeat, right?
Yeah, it was more like it got to the point. Like, in the beginning, it was like, you know, like when his parents die, it's like this whole long drawn out thing where they show them going out. They're just like,
it's like really punchy. It's like really, like, what's the word? Like, muscled up timing in terms of storytelling. Like, things move really quickly.
For this new one?
Yeah. I watched both over the weekend.
Where'd you watch them?
HBO Max for the new Witches, and then Netflix for the OG.
Oh, you guys have it on Netflix. We don't have it over here. I was watching it. We don't deserve anything over here. It's so brutal. I'm telling you. Like, our Disney Plus has only just fixed up and started giving us the same stuff as you. Like, it took ages for that to happen.
Yeah, because you guys didn't have the Mandalorian, right? Like, it all came in.
Don't even remind me. Like, you guys had the whole season, and then we got Disney Plus like 6 months after you, and then they started drip feeding us the Mandalorian. I was so livid. I was not happy about that at all. Like, started drip feeding it. I haven't even watched the new season. I haven't watched a new episode. Like, it's just been sitting there. I think I might do that tonight. Bonus points for guessing who I'm drawing.
Everyone can play. You guys seen Howl's Moving Castle?
The Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Also very melancholy. She's an old lady. What? I don't like very melancholy stories.
When did you
I
watch
love that stuff.
Oh, many years ago.
That's what I thought so too. I was like, why do people love Howl's Moving Castle? It's such a bummer. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, this is so sweet. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, maybe for a teenager it's a bummer. I was like, no, it's cute. I like it.
That was actually like the first Miyazaki feature I'd ever watched. I knew that Spirited Away had a lot of, there was a lot of promo behind it, and I remember it had won the Academy Award. And so after I saw Howl's, I went back and watched Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Well, Spirited Away was my first. And I think we watched it after it had won, and we watched it on DVD, and it was just amazing. Like, it was absolutely amazing. And I was converted from that. But my favorite is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Mm.
That's like my absolute favorite Studio Ghibli film.
I watched Kiki's Delivery Service because Cherie said she watched it. And
Super cute, super sweet.
I think that one's my favorite.
And Porco Rosso as well. Those are my two favorites.
Oh yeah.
My favorite is what's the one? It's like the one where a woman is like reliving her childhood while she goes to a farm.
Oh, is that Valley of the Fireflies? No, that one's about war.
Sad.
Like super sad. No, I haven't even watched the Fireflies one because it just seemed really
dark,
really sad, really heavy. And I don't know which one you're talking about.
It's like one.
To be honest, they're all on Netflix, and I haven't watched all of them.
See, they're on HBO Max here for us. We don't have them on Netflix.
We've got them on Netflix, unless they've been taken off. But we've got them on Netflix, and I think I need to actually watch them all before they go.
I also love The Cat Returns.
That looks so cool. Right, that looks so cool. But Arietti's my third, and then Ponyo.
Brittany Green asks, are there any other groups or organizations, societies, in addition to SCBWI, that helped you grow and meet other artists? For me, no. And actually, like, when I joined SCBWI, I met more authors than I did illustrators. Like, creating a community of illustrators has kind of been like a slower process. Like, I mean, meeting you guys the way I did was like very fortunate. But otherwise, like, I feel like my life is pretty isolated. Like, I work from home, and like people are always like, oh, you're not available for commissions. Can you recommend other illustrators? And I always feel like, no, I don't know anyone. I really don't know anyone. What about you guys?
I started meeting other illustrators was more off Twitter, to be honest. Like, threads I start on Twitter, I'd meet other people off there, and I just started some threads for that very purpose, because if I can't take on work, people are always asking, can you recommend someone? So I was just like, let me start a thread and get people to put their work on the thread. So like, all I have to do when anyone asks that question is just send them the thread. Like, so and from doing that, I met a lot of people. Like, I found a lot of accounts, and Drawing While Black has been amazing for finding new artists as well. Like, and what was the other one that we have? There's Drawing While Black, and there's Portfolio Day. Those two hashtags are amazing for finding artists. And once you find, with me anyway, a lot of artists follow back, and it becomes like a weird, like, self-built community off the back of that, and it all just happens on Twitter, and it's just so much fun. I really love it. It's like my favorite app for that purpose. Like, when everyone's not mad on Twitter, it's really fun. Like, when everyone's not crazy.
I mean, I'm a stalker, so I go to people's book launches. And
that's one way. That's definitely one way.
There's Society of Illustrators, but
I
don't know. I haven't been to that since I was in college, and the only time I went to it was during the
original art show.
But it was funny. I've only been to the original art show like regularly. I'd never been to like the event that they have, and I went for the first time like maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, there's so many people here. Why have I never come to like the opening?
It's called the Original Art Show.
Yeah, it's like they pick, I don't know, the best original art from all picture books that year. I don't really know how it's chosen, but they aren't you on the like the committee to pick?
I'm a judge this year.
Cool.
So,
but the society itself is like a society for every type of illustrator. So it's not like they focus specifically on children's books or picture books.
I didn't know it for picture books. I knew it for editorial mostly.
Yeah, when you go there to visit, like the permanent collection, like one floor is dedicated to like political cartoons and illustrations, and there's all types of illustrators there. And then like they teach classes, and you can have a membership and go to life drawing classes there. But like at least in the publishing world, like the big thing there is the original art show, which is the best original art from children's literature published that previous year. So it's either the illustrator or the publisher can submit. And like this year we had hundreds of submissions. I don't know if I'm allowed to say exactly how many, but it was a lot of submissions. And there was a jury of 7 of us, and basically all of the ones that got like all 5 likes or all 6 likes or all 7 likes got into the show or something like that. And then the ones that all got 7 likes became like the finalists for the awards. And so we went through those and judged them. But we go through, it's just a yes or no process. Is this good enough to be in the show, or is this not good enough to be in the show, or something like that. But yeah, it's a really fun showcase. Like the party is like a big publishing party every year, and it's always just fun to look and see what everyone's
working on.
But I was looking at picture books, some middle grade, and graphic novels. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, there were some board books, but mostly predominantly picture books.
That's a good event. I met so many like publishing people who I just email with. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see your face.
See, I'm definitely, when this whole world stops burning, I'm definitely gonna come over there and see all this stuff. Like, I hear all about all this stuff secondhand. Like Matt was talking about this particular event today. Like he was talking about the Society of Illustrators picture book original art thing, and I was like, I can watch all of this stuff unfold online for years, and now I'm actually in the illustration world, so I might make a trip, just check it out, see it myself.
Yeah, come during the show is always open like in the holidays, like I think from like November to Christmas time.
Cool.
So the time is 5:19, at least for me. So we've been drawing for about an hour and 20 minutes. And we still have just under 40 people watching. Do you guys want to just go for another 10 more minutes? And
I can do another 10-15 minutes. I'm
Okay.
cool. I can just polish off this picture of Rocket.
Okay.
Rocket.
You don't have to stick around for me to finish Rocket, not at all, but like I'm enjoying this. So.
I want to call it an even hour and a half, so we'll wrap up in 10 minutes. Let me see if there are more questions we can answer. Are there illustrators you look up to? Countless. I like the fact that Matt Forsyth wants to draw with us. I'm like, oh my god, he's so good.
Freak out, so I just
Matt's cool.
Yeah, I really love like so many contemporaries. Like I look up to Dan Santat. Like I heard that one year he illustrated 13 books, and so I was like, I can do 4 books. And
hell.
Like, not healthy. Turns out it wasn't that good for him either.
13 books.
Yeah, man.
That's insane. That's got to be a record somewhere.
Yeah, that's like crazy. I don't recommend trying to push yourself to such hard limits. I mean, he he is different than I am, and you are different than
13
I.
picture books. But then, to be
Well,
honest, I feel
they
like,
weren't all picture books, but like,
oh, okay.
yeah.
And I also kind of low key feel like, he's probably got that kind of experience where he's got like a formula for how he does things. I don't know. I'm just assuming here, but 13 books. Oof.
I mean, the way he told the story, he was like, some of it's not my best work.
Yeah.
I needed the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Money.
Wow.
It's like if you say you worked like 5 jobs over the summer,
Wow. 13 books in 1 year. Jeez. Like, that's over one a month.
Has the pandemic affected your creativity? Yes.
Yep.
100%. 100%. I am slogging through my books right now. I'm behind on everything.
The week that first week in June, after the videos of like Christian Cooper went viral and George Floyd, sorry. The names, man. I felt like I couldn't do anything, quite honestly. Like, I felt so much anxiety opening up social media because I didn't know if I was going to get re-traumatized by another video of people being killed or assaulted,
Harassed.
or harassed.
Yeah.
I've had a hard time talking to people because I didn't know if I was going to get into an argument about Black lives and why they matter. And it feels just so exhausting to try to continue arguing what seems like should be obvious. So that plus the pandemic, like one of the main reasons I'm here in Virginia is because I want to be close to my family. My parents are both older and immunocompromised. And so like, I'm constantly nervous that they're going to get sick. So yeah, for a while I had almost no ability to kind of draw or desire to draw. But like, I had a deadline, so I just had to finish some stuff. What about you guys?
Yeah, same, just a lot of anxiety. Thankfully I was already in therapy, which helped, but
Yeah,
it's very hard to like draw. And I was on like a writing deadline, which I feel like is worse than drawing deadline. So just a lot of like writing and then going to sleep. But I don't know.
I mean, I think for you two, it must have been amplified because you are in the States and that's like technically ground zero. We felt like a whiplash effect from everything that was going on over there. Over here, we had our own stuff going on, but we did feel that, and it did cast like this real gray cloud or a grayer cloud over everything. It was nuts. Like, it was just nuts. It was a weird time. I'm still, and I was already burnt out when we started, if it makes any sense. Like, I was already really tired when we started. So like, I'm still kind of trying to pick everything up, and I'm looking at it like, it's November. How did we get here? Do you know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. Like, it's November and we're here already, and it's like, it's a whole new, it's about to be a whole new year soon. Like, so my sense of time is just massively compromised. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
This year flew by. First it was like
absolutely,
and then it was like November.
Yeah.
The minute it started, kind of the minute we went into lockdown, and with the frequency that things were just happening, like, time flew and everyone blinked, and it's like, oh, it's the next month, and the next month, and
yeah, someone I saw online described it as like that first month of this, March, felt so long because we were learning something new every day. Every single day was different in the way we understood what the pandemic was or what was going to happen.
What life was now.
Yeah.
Like,
and then April hit, and we all had our own rhythms, and we knew what we were generally going to do every day. And then the months just started flying by. because we were pretty much doing the same thing every day.
Kind of makes you think about like how we look at time as well. Like it really did make me think about that, not to get all philosophical, but it really did make me think about how we look at time. Like everything, it's just this year has felt like about 3 years combined so far. That's how it's felt to me. Like it's felt really long in places. Like you talk about March, and March feels like it was so long ago. Like it's just unrecognizable. Like so much happened, I guess.
Yeah, and then this election just feels like it's been lasting forever.
Oh my God. When do you guys find out what's good?
Well, election day is Tuesday. Official numbers from the states don't really come in until later than that, but over the past like decade, 2 decades in media and television, like there's been like a history of news stations calling it for a candidate. So like they'll say NBC is now calling it for Donald Trump. That isn't like official. That's not from the states. Like some states, like registrar boards or whatever, don't officially start counting ballots until the Friday after election day. So it's possible that many ballots won't be counted until like the end of November or something like that. But some states don't start counting ballots until Tuesday. So a lot of the absentee ballots that have been mailed in, some states are already counting ballots. Like Florida is already counting ballots. So they're expecting like Florida might have a projected winner by the end of Tuesday. But like, it's hard to say because of the sensationalism on television. Like, it's hard to know what to expect.
Okay.
Sadly, news media has to be entertaining, so they have to like constantly be saying something, even if it's like not helpful. Which is why like people tweet not like stuff that's confusing, like, oh, we're projecting it for this person, and then that being wrong.
You have a plan for Tuesday? I'm like, what are we gonna do? I don't want to do anything.
Well, I didn't have a plan. I'm actually doing an interview with the BBC in the morning, so that's one thing.
Well, there.
Like,
or for over there somewhere.
For over there.
Oh, cool.
Or like a podcast. Cool. But I've been volunteering with the Democratic Party. Spoiler alert, I've voted for the Democrat. And there are like a lot of last minute volunteer things you can do. Like, for example, yesterday I called voters in Wisconsin to kind of let them know like that it's too late to mail your ballot. If you requested an absentee ballot, you should drop it in person. And so like there's information about like, well, your nearest drop box is 2 miles away. Do you have a plan for election day, or do you plan on voting in person? Are you going to drop off your ballot? Things like that. So just making sure people have answers to those kind of confusing questions, because it's so many like logistical little things. And then something else I'm doing, I've phone banked today for a little bit, calling volunteers so that volunteers can call people on Tuesday. So like there's like a list of people who requested absentee ballots but haven't sent them in yet. And on Tuesday morning, a big list of those names will be released to the parties, like the local candidate boards or whatever, or party boards. And so we'll call voters on election day to be like, hey, you requested your ballot. Do you have a plan? Are you going to vote in person? Do you know where to go? Things like that. So I guess that's what I'll be doing on Tuesday now.
Someone has asked us a question. Someone's asking about signed copies. I sell signed copies of both my picture books on my online store, which once we finish this, I'm going to restore the link on my Instagram, so you can just access the store through my Instagram. So yeah, and I deliver them wherever you need them sent to.
That's amazing.
yeah, it's like I said, it's fun sometimes, like it's a break from drawing to do the shop stuff. But I am dreading the Christmas period. I'm thinking, shit, do I open the store? And if so, do I like just open it for a week?
Um,
I never figured out the logistics for that.
Huh?
I never figured out the logistics for that, like selling signed copies of the book.
Oh, I buy them in bulk online through my friend's shop so that they count as actual sales. And then I sell them for the recommended retail price, but with a signature plus postage. So you're not paying like a stupid amount. Like the most people pay is £10 for a signed copy of the book, but then that's including postage and packaging to anywhere in the world. Like, yeah. And I'm very careful to tell people not to tell me to write long messages in the book. Just tell me who you want it signed to, because my handwriting sucks. Like, so I'm not about to do that. You drew Calcifer. It's my favorite character from that particular cartoon.
I don't sell any books myself. Signed copies are available at like bookstores that I've gone to personally and have signed them. So for example, I know that they have some signed copies of like my second book at Greenlight Bookshop, and you can call the store and order it, or you can order online and just like request the signed one. But one thing I'm going to do while I'm here in my hometown is sign a bunch of copies at our local bookstore. And I'll post the links on how to order from them. But yeah, what would be great is to just support them, to make sure these little local shops stay open. But otherwise,
during this time especially.
Yeah. Otherwise, the only way to get a signed copy usually from me is to come to an event.
Same. I haven't been to a bookstore in a while. I don't leave my house.
I think
What's your local shop there, Shireen?
I have oh my gosh, I just blanked. Word Books.
Oh, Word in Bayonne.
No, not in Bayonne, in Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Like,
there's one in Jersey City. They have more than they have multiple locations.
Yeah, I think they have one in Bayonne, one in Jersey City, and one in Brooklyn.
Greenpoint, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Closest one. There's not a lot of bookstores in my area.
I love this baby you drew.
Yeah, the baby's amazing.
So sweet. Okay, so it's 5:33. I'm gonna say that we should call this one done.
I'm cool.
Thank you everyone for watching. I believe the stream can save and will be available on my YouTube forevermore, I suppose, until I delete it. But maybe we can try this again with fewer technical problems.
Well, we know how to do it now, so
yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you, Dapo and Shiri, for joining me, and thank you everybody for watching.
You both have a good week. So I will catch up with you next time you want to do this.
Yeah. Wait, let me stop share so we can show everybody our faces, your beautiful faces. How do I do that? Can I do that?
I did it last time, actually.
Oh, there it is. It's hidden. It's like secretly. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Where's my screen gone? Why can't I see my Zoom? That's weird. Oh, that is super weird. There we are. Cool. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for logging in or tuning in. And yeah, see you next time.
Yeah.
All right, ladies,
Bye.
enjoy the rest of your week, the rest of your day, and have a good week ahead. And I will catch up with you